Right, they played the wrong bumper music on that time. I'm sitting there talking to Rob Dew, my producer, really quick about the new studio setup that we're doing. Basically, Rob Jacobson right now, of course, working on the Obama Deception 2. Well, he needs a new computer for that. When I'm working on Invisible Empire, I'm doing a lot of the bass editing. I also need a new machine, and we're pretty much trying to figure out how we're going to reconfigure the office so that I can get a kind of like movie editing studio in there. I apologize for the 30 seconds of dead air. We got Dice coming up in a moment. But I want to go to this last caller. Anthony Schur in California, you're on the air.
Did you say Anthony Schur?
Well, that's what I got in front of me, but it must be you.
Hey, what you're doing is socially unacceptable. Do you hear that? Yeah, but
well, obviously.
I was just at a baseball game, and I came home from a baseball game, and that's what my father said.
What you're doing is, and what were you doing exactly? Trying to tell him what's going on in the world?
Yeah, I tried to tell him, and I was trying to tell somebody at the baseball game.
What were you trying to tell him? Let's find out whether or not it exists, man, because maybe it doesn't exist at all.
Because, I was talking about the bankers, shoot, I'm a little nervous now. The Bilderbergers and stuff.
Oh, the Bilderbergers, that's socially unacceptable to talk about the world's 100 most powerful people, 100 to 144 most powerful people getting together and coming up with an agenda, and for 50-plus years saying it's a golf club, when the main players are people like David Rockefeller, Henry Kissinger, Alan Greenspan, Bernanke. I mean, that's just, completely socially unacceptable, ma'am. I don't know what you were doing.
That's what he said. I don't get
it. Don't give up on it. What you need to do is, it's your dad, right? Have him over. Again, have a movie on in the background. Don't push it down his throat right away.
I wish I could, but I don't think I could do that.
I think you can. You got to have the will to do it. Half of the battle is to get it into our minds that we can keep pressing on, even in the face of laughter, of ridicule, of being ostracized from our friends and our family. Believe me, it happened to me quite a bit, especially in the run-up to be making loose change. I mean, you can't imagine how many friends and family I lost because of my, vocalness. And, I pushed on, and it went full circle, and everybody calls me to know what's going on now. I didn't lose a real friend or family member when it came down to it. I thank you for the call. All right, we're going to have Mark Dice on in a moment, but I want to thank my final sponsor of the evening, SurvivalSeedBank.com. That's Survival Seed Bank. All right, folks, we are back. We are now joined by a real pioneer in not only the 9/11 truth movement, but the patriot movement in general. His latest book is The Illuminati Facts and Fiction. Of course, the author of the Resistance Manifesto, and has recently republished Proofs of a Conspiracy. We're going to be talking about that later. Mark, how are you?
Always a pleasure to join you.
Always a pleasure to have you, my friend. Now, finally, I got to watch Angels and Demons. Now, I know that you didn't go see the picture, but I did. I went and saw it, and at no time do they get into anything. And when I say anything, I mean anything to do with the Illuminati and the occult. They don't even make the connection. They show a pentagram twice, one of which has a all-seeing eye in the middle. But they only discuss two members of the Illuminati, and of course that's Galileo and Bernini. And to the lay people, they are portrayed literally, as intellectuals who were just trying to challenge the church's ideals. How far from that is that from the truth?
Well, it's so strange because Galileo and Bernini died about 100 years before the actual Illuminati was even created in 1776 in Germany. And so what Dan Brown did in the book, and what Opie, what Richie Cunningham did.
I don't like his movies, man.
Yeah.
They're always so disappointing. I can't think of a Ron Howard movie that just blew me away. I mean, the critics have hard-ons for it, but the Da Vinci Code wasn't that good. This wasn't that good. Apollo 13 wasn't that good.
No, I had to go and see it so that I could speak about it and know what it was. And in the ABC clip, you probably saw that I had launched a protest and urged people to truth jam inside the theaters.
I haven't seen it yet. No, we're going to play that on the air, but I didn't see it until they brought your website up. I hadn't heard about this, Mark. This is how out of the loop I am in the Patriot community. I'm hitting Reuters too much in the Telegraph. But you got on local ABC News out in California?
Well, it was on ABC in Los Angeles. And so, huge, KABC, they did the interview with me, and then the one that's posted on the web was picked up from Fresno. So what they did is they aired it in L.A., and then like they usually do, they sort of put it on the ABC wire so that other ABC affiliates around the country can pick it up. So at least I know it aired in L.A. and in Fresno and probably other parts of the country as well.
Excellent.
And,
Excellent.
Just kind of, it was an interesting, brief segment. It's really 2 minutes long. I mean, I did probably a 5-minute, 10-minute pre-recorded interview with them, and then they just cut out really 2 10-second sound bites from me to put in there, and then interviewed some idiot film goer and asked him about, my comments about the Illuminati being active.
I love Tom Hanks. What are you talking about?
What's so funny is one of the comments on the video after I posted it on YouTube. Of course, some of these people think that you and me and Alex and others work for the Jewish elite. And,
or we're Jesuits, right?
It's so funny. One of the comments is in this really accusatory tone. He's like, "How is it that Mark is always able to get in the news?" Like saying that my Jewish handlers had pulled some strings for me to get on the news.
Well, listen, why don't you tell people? Because you're unbelievable. You're a machine. Well, it's by not being an armchair quarterback and sitting there typing ridiculous things like that on message boards, you actually put press releases out.
Well, and people don't see how much work I do put into it, because the media coverage that I have gotten is really only a fraction of what I've tried. I mean, I make phone calls. I call these editors and the editors and the authors of numerous papers and producers, and I just pitch stories to them and I tell them what's going on. And for every 10 ideas that I've called them about, maybe for every 50, one will get picked up in a couple papers and very rarely on the TV. So these idiots think that my Jewish handlers are putting me on ABC News to discredit the 9/11 Truth Movement or to cover up for the Mossad connection and the New World Order and the Illuminati. It's just absurd. I mean, it's what you can do if you don't just bicker and complain on MySpace boards or YouTube comments.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to go through some of his films, because you know what? There are some winners in here. Okay, I'm going to go with the winners and then the losers. Angels and Demons, loser. Haven't watched Frost Nixon yet. I'm sure it's a whitewash. The Da Vinci Code, not a big winner in my eyes. Cinderella Man, can't say I've seen it, so who knows. The Missing, have no idea. A Beautiful Mind, it's really 50-50 on that. It's a decent picture, but then it makes, he's getting chipped, he's part of the government. Oh, he's a total schizophrenic lunatic.
And who knows how much of a distortion that is from the actual man. That was based on a true story of a man, but
wasn't he also, they also talk about him and his hot wife, but wasn't he really a homosexual? I read whole things like how it was totally inaccurate.
I'm not sure. All I know is that it was based on a true story of a man, but you can sure that they had their typical Hollywood embellishment on there.
Yeah, then we got Ed TV, garbage. Ransom was pretty good. Apollo 13, not as good as everybody made it out to be. Backdraft, pretty compelling. Parenthood, Willow, okay. But the last couple, I mean, again, the Da Vinci Code, now Angels and Demons. I mean, as a movie, you said you saw it. What did you think?
The movie was horrible. And it wasn't just horrible because I knew the inaccuracies. I mean, I went there with a group of maybe